Hey everybody, it's a couple of days before Christmas. I am working hard to get a video to you on Christmas Day. So if you're watching this, Merry Christmas. I hope you guys had a great year and looking forward to a great year next year. We are still working really hard on Overkill to get it ready to go for next year. It's getting really tight. By the time I get back from families for Christmas, I will have 3 days to wrap up everything that I have to wrap up in order to drive it on New Year's Day. It is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Everything's going to have to go perfectly for me to get that done. But I'm going to push. I should I should be able to get it done. I calculated it and estimated. I think it's about 24 hours of work, and I should have 72 hours to get it done. So that's the plan. But in this video, I'm going to show you some of my new tools that I got set up in the shop, and some of the work I was doing with a CNC Plasma table. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's not normal content for this. It's not an overkill build, and it's not wheeling, but I wanted to show you what was going on. And like I said, Merry Christmas to you. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Stick around, because next year is going to be awesome. So we'll see you then. Pretty poor. Like, I finally got the alignment right, but a couple of things went wrong. One, it's not good enough heat, so I need to change it over to 220 so I can run at higher amps. This plasma cutter only goes to 30 amps on 110, and it'll go up to 50 amps on 220, so I'm going to hook up over there. Oh, here. This bad boy. I've had the stuff to do it, just haven't done it. So I got to get that done so that I can run it at a higher amp and at a higher speed. Just to get a test and kind of play with some of the initial settings, I ran it at 30 amps and at 30 inches per minute, and it just torched the face. And then you can kind of see that the pierce is good, but that's the only thing that was good. Like, it was moving. It wasn't hot enough to completely cut through at even that slow of a speed. So tomorrow I'll get that plug wired up. We'll run the extension cord over to it, and we'll get the parameters set back appropriately. I might try a couple of smaller test patterns. Actually, I'll probably just use this same piece and run some more test patterns on this half until I'm happy with the cut paths and the speed and the piercing and all that good stuff. And then we'll try another test cut of some parts I need. And then I've got stainless. I've got 2 attempts of stainless here to do the final piece. But again, I want to get these cut paths and everything kind of ironed out and know that I'm happy. And then so all that was the first problem. The second problem is it got so hot that it started to warp. And the torch height controller, the torch itself caught this and pushed it out of the way. And so it never finished the cut. You can see that it's angled down here because it caught the edge. So definite heat problems. But again, if I can get it to higher amperage, pierce through the metal faster, cut faster, I will pause the machine if I see warping starting to be a problem. But again, yeah, we'll try again tomorrow. All right, here's attempt, I guess formal attempt number 2. What I did earlier was this. It did not have the appropriate settings to blow through it. And then I tried doing just a square cutout, adjusted the settings some more, and it cut that nice and clean. Do have a bit of just stuff to like grind off. So I felt pretty good. And then I cut this, and it did pretty good. It did get bumped in a couple of places. So it ended up not cutting out here, here, or here. So I have 3 that I want to take a look at in the design and make sure I've got good overlap. The face is still horrible, even though I way simplified the design. There's some stuff going on in here that I'm not happy with. And then the B, I'm thinking that the kerf width is too wide for the accuracy, and it just blew out the connective tissue. You can kind of see that starting to happen here on the A as well. So this might be a scaling issue. So what I'm thinking I might do is remove the outer portions and just do the inner portions. Yeah, because this whole piece should have been down here with this, like the hand should have been here, but it got bumped and twisted, and I just let it go. I wanted to see if there were any other obvious issues. Man. Yeah, I'm gonna put some thought into how I want to attempt to solve some of these. So yeah, if I end up removing the outer ring, I can scale this up 20% and have it still probably fit in what I need it to fit in. And maybe that's enough to overcome the kerf and accuracy issues. But yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. I'm done for the night. I say night, it's already morning. So yeah, steep learning curve on these tables, but yeah, got a lot to do in the morning. Got a lot of catch up to get done. I want to try to get you guys a video before the holidays, and then kind of be ready to release one after the holidays. So just trying to get as much done as I can. I've got basically 2 days. I've got today, which it's like 1 in the morning right now on Saturday. So I've got today and tomorrow to get as much done as I can, because we're leaving Monday morning. And then we'll be back Saturday. And then I'll have Saturday, Sunday, Monday to get it ready for wheeling. So yeah, just really, really, really cutting it close. So yeah. But yeah, we'll see you in a few hours. I'm gonna go get some sleep. So as you can see, the garage is still a mess. The first project I had was I needed to wire a 240 50 amp plug. I got that working. It's not in a great place, so which is of course by design. So what I've got is the makings of a 50-foot extension. So I'm gonna get this wired up with these so that I have a 50 amp plug going to a 30 amp receptacle, because that is what this is. So I already have another extension cord, which is what I've been using, This extension cord is kind of the same deal, 30 amp, but it was going to my RV 30 amp, which is what that is. So I decided to do something a little similar, get me an extension cord. That way, if I need to run that plasma cutter separate from the table, I have a nice long cord. It'll get me anywhere in the yard, and give me a little bit of flexibility in the work I'm doing. And I teased about this. This is the plasma table that I've had for a little bit. I've not gotten around to setting it up. I started setting it up last week, got the air compressor moved over, got it plumbed. I've been doing some test cuts. And ultimately what I've been trying to do is really needing the 40 amp capability of this. The only way I can get up to 40 amps with this is with 240. So that was the whole point, was getting me 240 40 amps to the plasma cutter. And then I have this other plasma cutter under here that goes up to 50 amps. And so I wanted the flexibility. So the outlet is wired for 50 amps. The extension cord is rated for 50 amps, but it's got a plug on it that'll work with both plasma cutters. So that is almost done. So I'm gonna get that knocked out. And then I started setting up a base on the Certiflat table because I need to build a pedestal for the tube bender so that when it comes time to do the roll cage, I'm ready to go. And previously I had built this, and it is removable, but I really don't like it. I'm not happy with the way it's oriented. I'm also not happy with the way this is oriented. So I'm going to switch some things up. I'm going to cut this off. We're going to get the pedestal mounted, fabricated, get the the tube bender mounted up on it, get the tube bender finished being set up so that I can roll it out of the way. And then I'm actually going to get back onto the plasma cutter once I've got the power to it and try to finish up some projects before I leave for Christmas. So that's kind of the goal for today. So like I said, that's kind of the goal for today. I have to get the CNC projects done before I leave for Christmas. And I would like to get the tube bender built before I leave, but that's not priority. I would also like to get some more work done on the Jeep, even if it's just some little electrical stuff. But again, that's not priority. We leave tomorrow around noon for Christmas. So that's kind of the priority of things. And so I'm going to get to it. Hey everybody. It's been a long day with lots of trials and tribulations here. CNC Plasma work is riddled with a pretty steep learning curve. And so I've gone through a bunch of tests, and every time I resolve one issue, I run into another. And I think I'm finally to a point where I have overcome all those issues. And so I'm going to try one more time. Fingers crossed. It cuts on my test sheet fine. And then I'll load up my sheet of stainless and get the final part cut out. It's been a long day. I didn't get anywhere near as much as I wanted to get done accomplished. It's starting to be a trend. But yeah, fingers crossed this cut goes well. And then I'll explain what I had to do. All right. So I wanted to show you what the solution looks like it is. It's kind of two things. On a previous cut, you can see I'm kind of blowing through in spots that I don't want to be. And that's just because the cuts that I'm trying to make are too delicate for this operation. I just got to scale it up. And so that's what I've done on this side, in conjunction with one other thing. So you can see that it's stopped mid-operation. And if I come over here, basically what I've done is I've forced a manual stop after each hole. So you can see up here, we're on hole 4 of 38. And if I hit this button, it'll start again. So it's gonna do its thing. And what I've told it to do is to wait and cool off the part. And when the air stops moving, it should be pretty cool. I can come in and inspect and make sure everything's good, that I don't have any tip ups. And then I can come over here and tell it to go ahead to the next one. And it looks like I still had a little bit of blow through, so I'll have to go back into the design and make that gap a little bigger. So I'll probably go scale it up in Fusion and then try one more pass before I put the final piece of stainless on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all 38 of these and see if there are any other spaces that I need to open up. And I'll make note of those and then go edit and try one more time. All right, I finished letting it go through and we had a few issues. Even though I was letting it cool down, it's still getting pretty hot and it's warping. And then that's causing the plasma head to catch and reposition the sheet, which obviously is not good. I may tack weld this thing when I'm ready. I might put just a tack weld at each corner. To hold it in position, and that might help. And then I had an issue here where it didn't finish the cut. That might have been because it moved. And then this stuff up here is definitely because it moved. And then this stuff in here was definitely because it moved. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna clean up a little bit of stuff. And then, then I may just have to give it a go. So, one more time. All right, it is a little after 1 a.m. It's like 1:15 in the morning, Monday morning. I finally got it done. I've been cleaning it up and just trying to burn through as much as I can to get as close to being ready to wrap as I can get it. And I've made it as far as I can make it. I'm gonna have to run to Home Depot in the morning and get some mounting hardware so I can finish assembling it. And so I've got this thing set up in a fixture. Let me show you. So I've got it set up on my fixture table here, trying to resolve the warping. So I've got, at each of the corner, I have some offsets. And then in between each one of them, I've got a clamp, just pushing it a little bit beyond, flat. I'm just gonna leave it like this overnight. I'm making this for my father-in-law, Dean. He was a CB in the Navy. That's where he learned metal fabrication, and that's what he does. He's obviously not in the CBs anymore, but I wanted to make him a little something out of metal. And so that was the first project on the plasma table. Now, I really made it hard on myself. I chose a really intricate design, And I ended up going through probably 20 or 30 different variations of the design because it's such a small scale. It was really intricate, and because I was trying to get this done in about a 9 or 10 inch space so that I could put it in a 12-inch shadow box, it wasn't going to work with the plasma cutter. It was warping and blowing through. You guys saw it. And so I kept having to change the design elements to make them bigger and get the spacing wider so that it wouldn't blow through. And I finally got it dialed. It took a while. It's a steep learning curve to learn Fusio360. I actually had to cheat. So I had to go into the G-code itself after it had been processed by the system for the VersaCut. It kicks out G-code, and I opened up the G-code and went in and found the different command structures so that I could force it to pause. And so I had to insert that every time it was going to move to make a new cut. I had to find where it was lowering the torch head and getting ready to fire it and tell it to stop so that I could look at it and make sure the pieces had fallen through and that nothing was going to be, a hazard for, as it moves, because again, that was another issue. Things would tip up, it would catch, and it would move the plate. I also used some of these blocks down. Oh, I can't show you because I'm talking to you. I used some blocks in the tray to hold it square and not allow it to move, and that worked wonders. So I finally figured out all the little tricks to get it to work, and I got it work. It still warped a little bit from the heat, and so that's why I'm going to leave it, for the next 6 or 8 hours. In hopes that it'll flatten out a pretty good amount. And then I'll finish assembling it in the morning after I go buy hardware. So the plan is that so I went and pre-drilled all my holes. So I need some 3-inch stainless hardware to go through this and bolt in the back. And then once that's flat, I'll get that kind of put in place, and I'll drill it from the back side to make sure that these perfectly align. Zoom out here. There we go. I'll, square it up on this, drill it. I've got some lights, LED lights that I want to go into here so that it's backlit. And it'll be kind of a little night light for a shop, or a sign for a shop. But yeah, that's the plan. So I will start back up in the morning and let you guys see it when it's done. Thanks for watching this episode of Our Overland Adventure. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and consider hitting that bell notification as well. If you liked what you saw, give us a thumbs up and tell us what you liked about today's episode in the comment section below. Until next time, keep exploring, stay safe, and we'll see you out there.